Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, April Thrift Art. Thank you so much for being here. So before we get started into this video of what I can't believe I'm going to show you, I do want to take a minute just to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. At the time of this recording, I'm at 574 subscribers and that is amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so excited about that. If you are new here, I hope this video persuades you to subscribe. Yay! All right, so let's get started. As you know, for many of you who have been following me for a while, I have not been working in my altered book in months. I got my laptop right here. I'm actually going to be watching the video that you're going to be watching with me. This is frustrating. Okay, frustrating is an understatement. Many of you know that 98% of what I paint is intuitive. Very rarely do I actually go into painting something and know what the end is supposed to look like. I guess since it had been months since I have worked in mixed media in the sense of like an altered book. So where I Mod Podge down pages, I, use a wide variety of mediums like Caran d'Ache crayons, my acrylic ink, my acrylic gouache, gesso, all kinds of stuff. It took a minute for me to kind of get back into it. So I loved it. It was fun. It was my normal intuitive kind of way, but it seemed, what's the word? I don't know. It seemed like I was having some trouble there. I was stalling. I was just kind of like, Anyway, so I'm going to watch this with you and we're going to talk about this. So the first thing that you see me doing is making these roses. Roses end up in my artwork a lot. So do lilies, lotuses, flowers in general just end up in my art. That's not abnormal for me. However, doing it in this way was the first time I did this. This was kind of an idea that just popped into my head. And I actually love this. This is probably my favorite part of this art piece, was doing this right here, making these roses. So that is actually black gesso, golden black gesso that I'm using. It's the same thing that I did on the page in the back. As you can, if you look close in the page in the back, that's multiple pages out of that big book that I had been working in. They kind of fell out. So, but I decided let's not let the pages go to waste. Let's just work on them. But I also glued some little strips of paper on top to kind of thicken it up a little bit and give it a textured background, vary it up some. And then I used the black gesso. And then here I'm using this acrylic ink. And I really like these acrylic inks. They're Liquitex. They're nice, but I didn't expect the paper to soak it up so fast. But I worked with it anyway. I still think it turned out okay. Lots of fun. I don't know why I didn't think paper would soak up acrylic ink that fast. It acts a little bit different on my art paper. Book pages, not so good. And clearly I didn't learn my lesson because you see me do it again a little bit later with a green color. And trying to use pages from a book as a palette, that doesn't work. And then here I'm testing out, well, not really testing out, but I'm using my acrylic gouache. This is honestly the first time that I've used these gouaches, and specifically this way, and I love them. I love that matte finish that they use, but I was just really at a loss of kind of what to do. So like I said, I was just going intuitively by what I felt. Colors, markings, all this. The leaves here that I'm drawing with this white acrylic ink, I was so proud of those. I thought those looked so good. I knew a woman was going to be in the image. How she was facing, I wasn't quite sure. This is me kind of taking my Caran d'Ache crayons and kind of sketching her in a little bit. But I got a little lazy with my hand here, and my hand hits onto like this part right here, the fatty little part. smashes into one of the leaves and I spread it. So then I'm like, I kind of like the look of that. So let me just go ahead and do that with all of them. And then I decided I wasn't that big of a fan, so then I smear it more. And then I kind of liked that a little bit, where they were there, but they're kind of not there. But that was a complete accident. That was not supposed to happen. I liked the really clean, well-defined leaves, but it happens. And so here I'm using my salmon color, trying to bring her to life. And why I thought of doing just the crowns and not laying down a base layer, I don't know. I don't think I really thought in that part, like, hey, I should probably lay down a base layer first. Instead, I just use the crowns. And then I'm going in with my water pen and I'm kind of smearing them around, because that's the great part about those crowns, is that, they are water soluble. And so I was kind of hoping that that would darken up and kind of make her face a little more opaque. And it did for the most part, but I don't think it was quite what I was really looking for. This is one of those moments definitely where, like I said, it had been a while and I'm like on this time crunch in a way, because my husband has the kids and I want to get some art in, I want to get some recording in, and like I'm trying to do something and I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to do, and maybe you can relate to that. I don't know. And then here I'm struggling with the lips. I struggle with the lips and the nose. My noses always come out kind of just a tad bit wonky. I need more practice with faces is what I'm trying to say nicely, in case you didn't realize that. I will practice and you will see me practice. And so here I'm just going in, trying to add some other colors, little yellows for the highlights. I stick with the crown because I'm committed at this point. It's going to be the Caran d'Ache crown. And yeah, so I end up darkening it up. And when I do the darker outline of it, it really makes it to me pop. I did like that part of it, but I've been so used to drawing with my micron pens and sketching that I'm used to those multiple lines. Like if you've seen it, sometimes I'll go over something 3 times because I love the line work of it. And so I go back a little bit later with ink and do that. Here I'm kind of touching up the roses a little bit more because they were too bright, in my opinion, with the acrylic ink. So I went over with some Caran d'Ache crowns and kind of brought that matte finish in with a little bit so it would tie into the piece a little bit more, I thought, maybe. And then here I'm going in and doing that line work that I told you about, adding a little bit of extra with actual like black ink to kind of darken some of the darks a little bit. Mod Podging on here, and that was actually pretty interesting. I was having trouble getting the big one to stay down for some reason, and then I have to go back a couple of times and fix the edges because they were not wanting to stay down. Eventually I got them, but at first it just wasn't happening. So I don't know if I maybe had something kind of residue underneath that was just not working with it. I tried my best to stay away from my old pastels, so I don't know. And then I go in and I decided that I was thinking the whole time, like, what am I going to do for her hair? Like, I can't have this bald lady. Could I? Maybe. Probably could have. But I decided to weave her hair into basically the leaves. And so I used this green acrylic ink, but I wanted it to be somewhat transparent so that you could kind of see the other colors from the gouache in the back. And I think it tied in kind of nicely. And then at this point, I'm trying to fix her lips a little to try to make them stand out a little bit more. Raindrops have been appearing in some of my stuff. I go in and try to make a little highlight with them. Like I said, it was fun. It was a good one to kind of use to get back into it because it had been months since I've done a mixed media altered book page like this. And I struggled. I even hesitated to share this with everyone because I know the struggle that went into this piece. But overall, I still like it. I still like the almost like dreamlike, misty kind of view of it. I would much prefer maybe to be a little more either detailed with her face or have that same etchy kind of look throughout the whole painting piece. So I don't know, I might have to play with this one some more. I doubt it. If you know me, I ain't going back to redo this. But I don't know. Anyway, so that was my frustrations with this piece. That's, like I said, it was hard. It was hard to kind of get back into this, but I'm excited to get back into my altered books and share that process with y'all even more. Trying out some new techniques, new art supplies, that kind of stuff, and just having a lot of fun with it. I am starting to paint on a smaller scale, so book page size and a little bit smaller, stepping away from the large canvases for a little bit, just so that I can play around with some that are a little bit easier to store. And I have some things that I want to do in the future, like maybe try to get some prints of some of the ones that I like, that kind of thing, and get ready to open up my shop. It has been a thought in the back of my mind for a while, a thought even more of this past few months when I've sold a couple of art pieces, except if you've ever shipped a canvas, you know the shipping cost is outrageous. And so I would like to kind of take that down a notch. Another reason why I want to make it a little bit smaller in like pages and, you know, size wise, is because I would like to scan my work. I would like to scan it with the intention at some point I would like to make my own oracle deck with my art. And so that's easier to scan than large canvases, that kind of thing. Anyway, I know that was long-winded. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought, or tell me about your struggles. Like, when you struggle, have you like stepped away from art for a couple of months and then tried to do it again, like, whoo, or even just a different style of art? Like, I've been doing art, just sketches and stuff in my art journal, but not mixed media in altered books. And so it's just interesting to kind of dive back into this and see how rusty I kind of am. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, if you have not subscribed, I hope that this video persuaded you to subscribe. I'm not so confident about that. All right, everybody, you have a lovely day or lovely evening or whatever it is your time. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video, and hopefully I have some more positive things to say about my art during that point. Maybe. Bye.